Good day, people of YouTube. What's going on? It is AK, the owner of eXtremeAzure Productions, here again bringing you an X-React video. This is my first X-React video for 2016, and the difference between this and X-Talk is mainly X-React, as the name suggests, me reacting to brand new happenings, primarily in the video game industry. And this one is a very interesting one because it talks about, it's not coming from an official source, but actually from a fellow YouTuber by the name of SuperMetalDave64. Now, he has been doing quite a number of videos all related to Nintendo and their upcoming NX system, and he apparently has some very important contacts in the industry. First, an unknown developer who is working on a project for the system, and now he's brought out some brand new information that his informant is actually from within Nintendo themselves. Now, frankly, when rumors like this pop up, I can't help but go ahead and take it with a massive bucket of salt, not a grain of salt, not a teaspoon of salt, but a massive bucket of salt. I'm taking this with a tub of salt, primarily because, okay, I'm not going to downplay him saying that he has an informant from inside Nintendo. Okay, I can't make this up, really. Well, you can make it up, but it's this weird mixture of, do you want to believe this person and do you not want to believe this person? Because he can't reveal his informants for obvious reasons, it's very hard to believe him. And because none of his rumors have necessarily come true yet, that they've all just been rumors, it's just been so weird to actually say, okay, hey, you know, this guy is legit, this guy is totally for real, because he doesn't really have much of a history that goes ahead to say that, okay, yeah, we can totally believe him. Now, he has been backed up by a few other Nintendo sites such as Go Nintendo, which is a very popular Nintendo site for news, who have been actively posting his rumors. And like I said, I want to believe everything that he says because he seems trustworthy enough, okay? But at the same time, because of the magnitude of his rumors, it's like, holy crap. Like, are you kidding me? Like, you need a second guess. Like, you have some people who just will automatically believe everything that they read, believe everything that they listen to and see, and then they're like, okay, yeah, because this guy says it, obviously it has to be true. And in the gaming industry, unfortunately, anyone who comes out and says some groundbreaking information, a lot of people take that as gospel automatically without waiting for an actual confirmation. And especially when things like this are just really convincing, and because he hasn't been able to show any like physical proof that this is true, like any emails or stuff like that, because he's just saying, hey, I got this information, if this is from such and such a person who's working on such and such a thing. Because he's only saying and not showing, because he can't show it, it's very hard to actually go ahead and say, okay, yeah, you know, this guy is legit. And that's why I'm caught in between a rock and a hard place and trying to actually believe that he's being legit. Like I said in the beginning, I don't want to downplay him. I don't want to discredit him in any sort of way. You know, I have no reason to. But this video is merely just me reacting to his latest rumor, and that is the fact that Zelda has been confirmed to be coming to the NX. The NX will be coming out this year, 2016. And he also talked about the Wii U's future in terms of games coming from Nintendo. And all of this points to the fact that Nintendo is now throwing themselves, in terms of their home console business, they're basically throwing themselves onto the NX. This is going to be their big moneymaker going forward. That's basically what his video is showing. That Zelda Wii U will be the last major title to be released on the system. And it's also coming to the NX to help drive sales in the same way that Twilight Princess did. And pretty much that Nintendo has finished supporting the Wii U. But like I said, there are so much variables, and this goes against certain things. Now, President Kimishima, the brand new president of Nintendo, just recently went on to say that while the Wii U isn't selling at a rate that he is very happy about, him as well as Nintendo is very pleased with the way that the software has been selling. He's gone on to say that in the past that they intend to create more projects for the Wii U, and he's just recently said in the recent investors briefing that happened about 3 weeks ago that they intend to create more titles such as Splatoon and Super Mario Maker that will invoke attention in the system and continue to help drive sales. And we've seen that while the Wii U hasn't sold a lot as a system, its software has been selling very well. Its attachment rate has been excellent. games like Mario Kart 8, Super Smash Bros., Splatoon, Super Mario Maker, amongst so many others, have gone on to sell over the millions, and it's been doing very well. While the Wii U's user base is very small, they're very active. They're constantly buying Nintendo's games, which has, as a result, allowed them to go ahead and make money off of the system. Now, I've talked about before in a separate video that I did last year, saying that Nintendo releasing the NX in 2016 is a very weird, very strange decision. My main thing with Nintendo releasing the NX in 2016, if it is true, is the fact that, okay, you have the Wii U user base, which is already very small. Well, by comparison, I mean, I wouldn't call 12 million small, but anyway. You have your Wii U user base who has obviously been very loyal to you. If you release a console this early, okay, A, is your existing user base going to be okay with that? And B, who else are you going to attract? Because if the NX just absorbs the Wii U's user base, then it's still going to be in the position where it's selling, where its user base is very small compared to the competition. I've already discussed this multiple times before. The PlayStation 4, the Xbox One combined are over 50 million. Okay? Wii U is only 12 million, which isn't even half of the combined user bases of PS4 and Xbox One. So if the NX comes out this year, even if it does, let's say it makes 5 million within a year, let's just say it sells around that much. What about the potential 60 plus million other systems out there? Okay, those are out there now. People are gonna still go ahead and buy the PS4 and Xbox One, and then potentially 2 to 3 years from now, we're gonna start hearing about the next Xbox and the PlayStation 5. So where's the NX gonna be in that situation? That's what I'm talking about. Nintendo releasing the NX early may help them out in the short term in terms of getting support from third-party developers, because the system would be as powerful as the systems that we have now. But how does that affect them in the long term? You know, consoles are released in generations for a reason. They're not like phones, they're not like computers, which are constantly being replaced because technology moves so fast. Yes, technology is always moving fast, and yes, the technology found in consoles is replaced very quickly. However, they're made with longevity in mind, because that's the point of console generations. You're supposed to have a console for roughly 5 years, and then you replace it, because by then there will be a significant jump in technology. Now with the Wii U, yes, the system isn't as powerful as its competition, but it can still go ahead and produce great games. Third parties have gone ahead and ignored it, but Nintendo has been doing a very good job in supporting the system so far, as well as their exclusive deals like what they did with Hyrule Warriors, Bayonetta 2, Lego City Undercover, and titles like that. So if you have support now, don't ruin it. That's my point. And that's why I think Nintendo releasing in 2016, the NX in 2016 I should say, is a very weird and messed up situation, because we've seen what has happened before, like with Sega. They went ahead and released so many systems, one after the other. Eventually consumers got tired of it, developers got tired of it, and the company nearly died. If it wasn't for their former president, they would have died. Sega would have ceased to exist in the likes of THQ and Atari. Alright? So obviously Nintendo isn't in that dire situation, but if they go ahead and do this, they will be getting the ball off rolling with losing support because of a lack of trust. And Nintendo's consumer base is very loyal. They're completely different from that of the PlayStation and Xbox crowd. It's almost like a family. Whereas PlayStation and Xbox fans, it's more like a tribe or a nation. Nintendo's consumers seem to be more or less like a family. And so when you break up trust in a family, obviously you're gonna have fallouts. And Nintendo can't, well, they can't afford in terms of money to have a fallout, but in terms of popularity, that's definitely not what they're gonna want to do. They don't want to be seen as, you know, fickle. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, fickle. So if, like how the Wii U didn't take off in the way that it should have, if the NX proves to be the same way, then what? Are you going to replace that in 4 years too? So it's just a really big and very weird situation. Okay, so with all this, of course, the main rumor is definitely the fact that Zelda will be coming to the NX. I've already discussed this, but I'm just going to go ahead and paraphrase what I've said before. If Zelda is coming to the NX, that will break a trend that has existed for 30 years. Okay, the Zelda series literally just turned 30. Just as few hours, well, I shouldn't say a few hours, okay, about a day ago. It officially turned 30 years old. And for the past 30 years, every single Nintendo system minus Virtual Boy, of course, has gotten its own original Zelda game. And when we got into the 3D Zeldas, it was a trend to release at least 2 games per system. Like we've seen with the N64 got Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and GameCube got Wind Waker, and then switched it up when Twilight Princess came to both GameCube and Wii. But that was okay because Wind Waker was already there. The GameCube already got its original Zelda. And of course we got the dual release Twilight Princess and its own original Zelda, which was of course was Skyward Sword. And of course we've had the handheld Zeldas as well. They're in a different category, but primarily focusing on the home console Zeldas. Wii U hasn't gotten its original Zelda. It's gotten 3 Zelda titles, and all of those, 2 of those have been remakes. One of that has been a spin-off, of course, I'm talking about Wind Waker HD, Twilight Princess HD, and Hyrule Warriors. Zelda Wii U has always been pushed as being a game made for Wii U in the same way that Skyward Sword was made for Wii. Okay, Skyward Sword was released 1 year before the Wii U came out. Nintendo could have easily gone ahead and ported it over to the Wii U if they wanted to, especially because the fact that the Wii and the Wii U are so damn close to each other, man. Like seriously, they could have gone ahead and done that, but they didn't. Why? Who knows? But they didn't. They've still gone ahead and released Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, but they never went ahead and fooled with trying to port over Skyward Sword, even though it would have been the simplest thing to do. So when talks about Zelda coming to the NX, it just seems so weird because you can't use Twilight Princess as an example because that was an exception, not the rule. So I'm not saying that it's impossible for it to happen, but I'm just saying that I still have no choice but to doubt it because it doesn't add up with history. Now Nintendo of course can go ahead and pull a 180 on all of us and completely switch up the situation. I mean, no one expected Twilight Princess to release on 2 systems, so Zelda NX could actually literally be a thing. I'm not denying that it's impossible. I'm just saying that I just don't think it's plausible, and I don't think it's sound, especially since it does have the chance to go ahead and break the trust of the consumers. Okay, it's definitely a lot to take in. But the last thing I want to talk about is the fact that there's only one more unannounced Wii U title coming from Nintendo, which, according to this rumor, indicates that as of this year, the Wii U and Nintendo are finished. They're putting it to bed a year before they should. And that is definitely the kicker for me. As I've discussed in this video, earlier in this video, and as well as past videos, Nintendo releasing the NX in 2016 ultimately doesn't make much sense because, like I said, the consumer base would be broken. The trust, as well as the fact that you still, like, cutting off support, it doesn't help the situation. It will stagnate the consumer base, and then when the console does eventually release, people are going to be like, oh, you have a new console out? Okay, what are we supposed to do now? How do you... Of course, Nintendo loyalists are still going to go ahead and buy the system, but what about other gamers? Are they going to be interested? If they have a PS4 and Xbox One already, of course not. But if they haven't bought those systems already, are they going to be willing to trust Nintendo enough to go ahead and buy the system? Like I said, it's full of variables. Ultimately, I still think that the NX should be kept off until 2017, the earliest, and Nintendo should still continue to support the Wii U in whichever way that they can to keep the consumers happy, to help them transition over to the NX, so by the time when the Wii U does eventually finish its run, gamers will feel satisfied, not dropped. That's what happened with the Wii. When the Wii was barren, we got Skyward Sword in 2011, and then when 2012 came around, early 2012, it was just barren. I think Nintendo only released one game, that was Kirby's Dream Collection or something like that. But it was a collection, not even a new game. So when you have something like that, that cannot happen with the Wii U. I think that's another reason why when the Wii U came out, it didn't take off so quickly, because consumers were just dropped. They lost interest, they went off to other systems, and then when the Wii U came out, they're like, oh, okay, so what now? So you can't have that. That breaks consumer trust, it breaks momentum, and you need momentum to be able to carry over into the next system. When Xbox One and PS4 came out, they were coming off the momentum generated by their predecessors, which is exactly how it needs to be. You can't have that long gap of nothing just to come out with something and then expect people to just jump on. It doesn't work like that. It needs to transition from one to the next. That's just how it works. And so I'm hoping Nintendo doesn't repeat that same thing, what they did with the Wii to Wii U, as they go from Wii U to NX. So we'll just see how it turns out. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I will catch you in the next video. And Super Metal Dave 64, I hope you keep reporting your rumors. Let's see how this thing turns out.